It's the Man Cave Club.
The boss is in the house.
The boss is in the house.
Not talking about Bruce Springsteen.
Wesco Boss boot.
Paul, you just can't quit buying Wesco engineers, man.
Well, I'm trying to narrow it down, man. But actually, you know, the Boss, it really is my favorite boot by Wesco. Mm-hmm. And I've been searching high and low for particularly what's referred to as the bubble toe Boss boot. And I think I found it. I scored a pair of these off of the Bay in my size. This is a 9D.
You talked about these in our engineer boot as your
If you go back to
your dream would be to go to Wesco, have it made to you, but
have this boot made.
Yeah, but if they fit and you found them, hey,
yeah, yeah.
Dream achieved, grail achieved.
Right. It's a Horween leather out of Chicago, and Mr. Horween, and just the shape of the last, and the boot just fits me really well. I'm really happy with these boots. And then I noticed that Ironheart Germany did a restock of their custom Boss round toe.
Yeah.
Which, we were just comparing the two lasts of these boots, and this is built on a slightly different last.
At least the toe profile for sure. Yeah. A lot of times what companies will do is like from the ball, the widest part, the ball of your foot back to the heel will be the same.
Yeah.
And then they'll just have a different toe profile.
Modified.
Wesco does that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, it definitely has a more aggressive like toe spring.
Right.
And then the toe like dives kind of straight back down to that welt. Mm-hmm. And this is a little more gradual, kind of a sloped toe. They're both structured toes. So it's not like this is just an unstructured collapsed version of this. They're definitely different toe profiles, but everything else about the last looks really similar.
Yeah, what I like about the brown is they are slightly more tapered toe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Which gives it a nicer aesthetic, I think. It's just a nicer all-around looking boot. Mm-hmm. Just the way the shape of the toe tapers down. It's just more elegant. This is a little clunkier. It's sort of interesting. This particular toe, this bubble toe, I just don't see these boots around too much in the U.S. market. Mm-hmm. Wesco Japan almost exclusively carries this bubble toe last. But I just don't see them in the U.S. or pretty much anywhere. I mean, even these are one-off customs from Ironheart Germany, and they don't have
that toe.
Yeah. Which I think this is just a better looking boot, personally. So that's one of my little pet peeves.
It's so funny because I might have a hard time articulating this fully, but the Japanese have like such a like the way that they view Western culture and in style, like a lot in my like tattooing culture, we borrow a lot from each other and we do the same back to them. So it's funny because they're like American aesthetic is this bump toe, and the trend I see with Americans buying engineers is more of that clinch, which is a Japanese bootmaker, that clinch like super flat, like zero bump toe, unstructured, really flat toe box, like a flattened, the opposite of this toe on an engineer.
To the extreme.
To the extreme end. And I would call this extreme on this end, in my opinion, that really bump toe.
Right.
This is more vintage for sure, vintage inspired.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. I mean, to me, this style of boot is really the closest thing to a classic biker boot, engineer boot from like the 40s or 50s.
Yep.
And that's why I like it so much. Because it's just classically styled.
Yeah. This boot specifically, the brown pair, looks to me like a very vintage inspired utilitarian work boot. A few of the key differences I've noticed just looking at these two, the stitching. There's a lot less stitching on this boot on the upper.
Right.
You got 2 rows on the quarter and the vamp.
That's a good point.
The heel is missing that extra stitch in the back there too on that heel stay. So you have that extra Wesco point, and then you have 3 rows and 3 rows here.
Yeah. Very good.
But it's very, very simple. I mean, there's only 1 row holding that strap on, and you know these roll clubs. I got 2 rows on those straps. Right. It's just there's a lot less stitching. It's a way more simple boot. It doesn't have the Mr. Lou super tapered shaft to fit under, you know, a 6.5-inch leg opening denim. Like this is a work boot, and I think that's why you like it, because you really like. I've noticed you're really drawn, as am I, but to utilitarian inspired like heritage like actual workwear stuff. Right. And I think that's why you love these boots so much.
Yeah, interesting. That's a Professor Jimmy comes through again.
Dude, it's the small details, but that stuff makes a difference, man. And
no, you're absolutely right. And I lean towards a more utilitarian work boot style.
Americana.
But I wear work boots because
you work.
Yeah, because of the type of work I do, and I ride motorcycles. So I not so much into the fashion type of aspect of wearing engineer boots just for fashion.
Yeah,
you know. Although I do have a pair of John Lofgrens on, which are more fashion forward style.
Sure,
obviously.
Sure, and I'm kind of on the opposite end. Is like I don't wear them for any like necessarily utilitarian work purposes. So maybe that's why I'm drawn to the more the fashion side of it. You know,
comfort.
And comfort, absolutely.
That's in your wheelhouse for sure.
Comfort, man. I'm about comfort. Yeah, I'm comfort, man. I'm not gonna suffer for beauty at all.
like these boots, these 2 boots. It takes a while to hit that comfort level. Yeah, it takes this is some serious break.
I was trying to bend it at all. I can't bend it, man. I mean, you can tell them they're not very creased because you can't bend that sucker.
Right, they're pretty hefty boots. I mean, these boots have been wearing more, so they're becoming a lot softer and more broken in. I first bought this pair off of eBay, used. Well, they weren't used. They were actually new in the box. They're new.
Yeah, but for sure. They look brand new.
And then I noticed that Ironheart Germany did a drop of these. So I really just spontaneously, just out of an impulse, just grabbed a pair of them because they don't come around too often. So I was like, I'm just going to, and if I don't like them for some reason, I can always sell them. I mean, So I love the Chromacell leather. Yeah. So that's where these have quite an advantage. This Chromacell leather, once it's worn and that core starts to kind of wear up through. Yep. That kind of tan brownish core comes through. Yep. This is a really beautiful leather.
Yeah, Chromacell is great, man. These are Chromacell too. I could tell. Chromacell is a tannage. Okay. Chromacell is just like the process. It's like the recipe for how they tan it. So you can have cow and horse Chromacell. It's just the recipe. They're starting with a different base ingredient.
This is a Chromacell horse. This is a Chromacell cow. Bovine.
Yep, you could tell because this has a way tighter grain. I could tell by the temper of it, the feeling of it. But you smell them. They smell only Chromacell smells like this. They smell exactly the same on the inside. Yeah. So I could tell this is Chromacell too. Yeah. Horse. That's what these roll clubs are. Chromacell horse. Chromacell horse. Okay. But Chromacell cowhide is a little more ubiquitous because horse is more expensive. So boots are more expensive.
Horween is the name of the tannery. Yep. The name of the family, the original family.
Yeah. Correct.
Horween. Yep. Yeah. So let's just clarify that.
Yeah. Nick Horween runs it now. He's like the grandson, I think.
Great grandson. Well, I don't know. They started in 1905.
Okay. I think he's just either the grandson or the great grandson. I'm pretty sure his grandfather opened it. Right. There's a lot of interviews with Nick Horween. He's pretty He's not elusive, you know. He's on YouTube a lot. You can find him. Phil Ashland Leather has him on his channel a lot.
Yeah, cool. Great.
But Chrome XL it's just a great all around leather.
Right.
And these have a way tighter grain break on the vamps. And what I mean by that is where you can just see the smoothness of the grain. Mm-hmm. And then those creasing, you get to see that. And those, in my opinion, don't have the best clicked vamps. So you use that term clicking. It's referred to like when that big clicking press comes over and it click comes down and cuts out the template of the leather.
Right.
So with more expensive boots, I don't want to tangent too far, but this will all kind of support my point here. Nick's boots, they came out with that new line, the Brandle. It's like their super fancy $1,000 boots, and they're using one cowhide per pair of boots because they want to click these vamps from the absolute tightest grain, so you don't end up with any of this creasing.
The best section of the hide, or the
absolutely
best selection of that animal.
Yep, and there's only most of the time enough room for one pair on that. But companies will obviously, they're going to maximize profits. Sure. They're going to use all the leather. You don't want to be wasteful.
They want to use every.
You don't want to be wasteful, right? So they just boom, 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 and it's kind of luck of the draw. So a lot of times you'll see on like Wesco's secondhand page, the only problem with the boots will be someone's like not happy with the grain break, not loose grain, but grain break on the vamps, because people aesthetically they won't like it. Whatever, it's not, you know. I tend to not care because I'm gonna wear the boots. I'm gonna beat them up, but
Me too. Yeah.
People get hyper focused and they just want a perfect product out of the box.
Yeah, like anything.
Like anything.
I mean, if there's like
I'm like that with some stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Like buying a guitar, buying a car or something.
You don't want to scratch on your brand new guitar out of the box. That's unacceptable, right?
Yeah. Or if the grain, even the grain of the wood in the neck or in the body of the guitar isn't quite, you know,
what you're thinking.
Yeah. Because that varies also.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point, Jimmy. I mean,
I don't mean that to be a
put down.
A put down on these boots at all. It's just an observation and that is very indicative. The grain, horse leather just has tighter grain in general, so you're very rarely going to see that type of micro fine creasing.
Yeah.
But once you finally break those vamps in and you put like actual hard creases in from bending the boot, you're not even going to notice that stuff because those creases are going to be bigger.
Right.
Another thing Wesco does that I feel like they could improve on is their Wesco's natural edge is just that. Like it is straight up natural. That is, there's nothing on that leather. Whereas I think every other company is going to at least put like a beeswax or like a neutral edge cream on it just for some protection, because that's totally untreated.
Yeah.
That's like a sponge to like water or whatever.
Right.
So,
and that's another interesting point. That's why these boots look a little more refined.
Yeah.
Because that edge is treated and dyed and waxed and just finished a little nicer than these.
Yep.
Which
straight off the sanding drum. And that's just what they do. I had a pair of Wescos and I had a natural edge too. And when I got them, I was like, oh yeah, look at that. It's like straight up natural.
Right.
You know, you can see it on the what's showing on the midsole on this pair too. And that's how Wesco does it. It's cool. They're the only ones that do that. And like, I personally really like the contrast of this boot with the natural edge, but I like that the top of the midsole is black. I think that's kind of cool that that's dyed black.
Yeah.
Because I think this natural edge really contrasts well with the cross section of the Chrome XL. You know, you can see that light, and then the brown stitching on the black is like classy touch in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a cool boot. I think out of the two, I like this one, like the overall like color scheme of it. But if I was gonna choose a pair to wear, I'd probably go with the brown ones. Just because this like dark brown Chrome XL is just such a good tone of leather.
Yeah.
It's like nothing else is like it. I haven't found any other leather on on the market that
Yeah, I mean,
comes close to that color.
Yeah, they look great with a pair of like dark jeans. Honestly, I think the only thing I could say is just, I'll put out a plea to Wesco Boots. Please build more of these boots with the round bubble toe, the Boss boot. Please, please, please. Just put more of these boots out into the market because I don't see a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
It's so extremely rare out in the market.
It seems like the stores that buy runs of Wesco boots, be it Snake Oil, Blackberry Brand, Standard Strange, Ironheart, or at least the US based ones, pretty much all just get like the Mr. Lose. I think that's what maybe the people want. Mm-hmm. But if they're never offering these, I don't know. Do they know that the people don't want these? If it's the Japanese market supports it, like why couldn't our market? So yeah, that's a good point, man.
I think I satisfied my quest for the Boss boot with either of these two for now. I think I'm
absolutely
I'm good now.
Yeah. No, there's no more needed. Just looking at this toe, man, and makes my toes happy. They look like they'd have a lot of room in there.
Yeah,
so.
That's what's nice. A lot of wiggle room in this nice big round.
Yeah, totally.
toe,
Man. They got to be comfy boots. So, well,
Yeah,
thanks for showing me your new Boss boots, man.
Yeah, right on. Thanks for coming down, Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nowhere else I'd rather be.
Thanks for joining us in the Man Cave Club again.
It's Jimmy and Paul talking about it all right here
inside the Man Cave Club.
Thank you for joining us in the Man Cave Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe.